Right, just doing a bit of fuel pump testing. This is the fuel lift pump. Simple item. This is a genuine Bosch one that I've cleaned out. Now all these should do, or are required to do, is pump 400 cc's of fuel in 10 seconds. That's a 500 millilitres bottle, and that's just pretty much filled 3/4 of that up in under 10 seconds. So it's safe to say that that fuel lift pump is absolutely tip top, doing more than it should do, which is fine. So all it's going to do is get cleaned up and put back on. This is a bit frothy. This is just G101 cleaning fluid, just to help flush all the crud that's in, any crud or rubbish in the pump through. Obviously it's got a bit frothy, but you can see this was clean when I put it in. So that's how much dirt's inside the pumps, bits and bobs. So that's just power and earth onto a battery. Simple test. No point paying out for a new pump when you don't need one. Test it. It costs nothing to test it. Again, this is a genuine pump. I don't think you can get genuine ones anymore. So you're only going to get an aftermarket Topran kind of pump. So this pump, if that's the original pump, that's 31 years old and it's still doing its job. So that's one good indication why you always buy genuine parts, even though they're more expensive, but they last. So I'll just clean that up and I'll show you the seal that needs changing. Right, as we said previously, this is the lift pump, and this is the seal that's, again, if this is the original pump, that seal's 31 years old. It doesn't do much job of sealing it, and the seal sits, I ain't got a pointer, sits on that tube, and it sits inside the top of there, and then you can see inside there, that's where the other side of the seal goes, and that spring sits in there. So what I'll do, I'll put it together with the new seals. There's a pack of seals, that's all they are, 8x2mm seals. These are Viton seals, so these are made now, so you shouldn't, they're resistant to pretty much every chemical you can get, mainly fuel, which is good. That was £1.87 for a pack of 5 off eBay. So I'll whop a new seal on that and I'll show you what the seal is actually doing. As you can see, that's the seal, which just sits on top of there, and that is the base. The spring cap sits over the top, and you can see where the seal sits in between it, and then the spring sits on top like that, and that spring will go over the metal tube, and just above my thumb there, there's 2 little triangle bits either side which clip into the sides, so I'll clip it together and show you the movement it has. And as you can see, that's the top of the pump sitting on. It does sit at a slight angle just by the nature it sits in the pump. So there's one side clipped in, there's the other side clipped in. You can see how much that spring is compressed, and this is that's how much movement. So that's how much movement the lift pump actually can have. Obviously it doesn't move like all the time, but depending on conditions, you know, temperature of the fuel, temperature of the outside temperature, whether the tank is expanded, all that sort of stuff. Remember, the plastic tanks, they do move, and that seal sits inside there and allows the pressure of that pump to go up through that pipe and out into the main fuel pump. And also you want to keep that pressure, so as that's going up, that seal in there is holding that pressure, pumping it through. And with the old seal, if that's not sealing on there, the fuel's just coming out past that spring and leaking straight out. So that's why you could have a symptom of a bad lift pump when it's not a lift pump, it's just, you know, a 50p O-ring. So there you go, that's the pump itself back together. Not fully, obviously cleaned up and tested, genuine lift pump. That's the part number on them if you need to trace one. Don't think you can get them new, but, and as you can see, that's the strainer cleaned out, a few tiny bits in there. You probably could buy the strainers off another system, but there's no point, it's clean, I've tested it, it's working. That then sits inside there, so all I've got to do now is replace this, which is being quite awkward because one end's 12mm ID inside diameter and one end is 8. So, and it's very hard to get actual rubber that's submersible, which is a pain because it's expensive. So what I'm going to go with is a lot of the newer pumps have the corrugated plastic tubing. It's about £12 for a bit of tube, and it's going to have to sort of go around in a loop because the length of it possibly. That actually only fits around there. The loop won't make any difference with the pumping fuel. So that's the course of action with that. This type is a bit minging on the end, just where it's old. You can't really see it well. I'll probably just replace that or cut another diagonal on the corner just to clean that bit up. That's just return. The float needs a bit of clean up. So once I get the tube, I'll give everything else a clean up. I'll get the multimeter on the 2 pins for the sender as well, and just move that, make sure the gauge is working fine. Once I've done that, and that's good to go back in, and all that's costed me, say, £12 for the pipe, £1.87 for the seals, and the pump's perfect. It will do for another 30 odd years. Again, it's a genuine pump, genuine item, genuine things work and they last. So if you have got issues with fueling, K-jets wise, and you think it's a lift pump, or a garage says, oh, it's a lift pump, just pull it out. It takes 2 minutes to pull it out, and just test it. I mean, stuff I've used here is just bottles, cable ties, just general stuff at home. Cleaning wise, cleaning that, which is oven cleaner, squirted it in a spray can thing, just left it for a couple of days, a couple of hours even, soaked it, old toothbrush, give it a little scrub, blow it off the air gun, or just dry it off, sorted, cleaned. Cheap and easy way to do. So I'd rather do this and know it's good than just go, okay, I need a lift pump, and just put one in there that's not up to, even though they say Topran and stuff say it's OE standard, it's not. So if you can fix and reuse something, or just test, clean and reuse something, do it. Saves you a lot of money. So cheers.